everyone, this is GM. I'm living in India and I'm a mother of a 1-year-old. Today I would like to say a few words on why I'm totally against exposing my child to any kind of screen time, to any kind of digital gadgets, be it from an iPad, TV screen, mobile phone or anything else. Most of the parents are totally fine with their kids being exposed to media since a very young age, as every day-to-day life is so much involved in media, be it our job, our studies, entertainment. Everything goes through the filter of media, through digital world, through the screen. And for parents, it's normal that their kids start to explore the digital gadgets since a very young age. And yes, digital world is a world of opportunities. It's wonderful. It's something that our ancestors would have never dreamed of. But the sad reality, the thing that even us as adults, we are a struggling generation trying not to fall into the trap of media, because media is a huge business, right? And business is all about to sell us, to feed us all the things that we actually do not need. Our brain is literally made into a trash bag where all this bunch of unnecessary reels, videos, entertainment constantly is being trashed. We keep on scrolling our screens late into the night when we know we have to wake up tomorrow early morning. So we ourselves as adults, we do not have enough self-control to use the media in a way that is enough healthy, both for our physical health, for our mental health, in a productive and in a balanced way. When we decide to introduce media or any type of digital gadget to our kid, especially to the kids who are below 5 or 6, we should really think if they actually need the screen time. Is it going to be good for them? Because media directly affects the habits of your child, the way your child is perceiving the world, the way your child is learning to perceive the world. Because screen addiction could start from a very young age, and it could lead to a really severe series of consequences in your child habits, in your child's developments. It's really a huge problem in today's world.
They give their children a device at maybe 3 or 4, and all of a sudden that's all they want. And they don't want to play with other toys. They don't want to have any interest in other activities. They just want to be in front of their screens.
The video through which we can see a baby who has already started developing an unhealthy relation with screen. So kids who are being exposed to media since a very young age are at a huge risk of developing screen addiction and anger issues, the mood swings that come with it. So it's a really huge risk. It leads only to further problems with their self-control, concentration, development skills, exploration of the world, and the worst thing is that a child loses the touch with the reality. The child is getting so much used that the media is feeding him the information. The child doesn't need to explore to know something. It is the media that is exploiting a child's brain. Who watch too much TV or cartoons, they lack the concentration to read a book. Why read a book when you have a story that is being displayed to you on a screen? The contrary, the kids who are not exposed to media at all since the young age are much more calmer. They enjoying playing with their toys. They are very engaging. They like to read books. Well, of course, a lot of parents think that media will enrich one child's vocabulary. They will know different phrases, different words. This is partly true when it is well monitored and there is some time limit set. It might be partly true, but the sad thing is that when their parents are not strict enough or do not know the right way how to stop the child from engaging into the media too much, the children end up spending too much time in media, and when they go outside, they are less talkative than the other kids.
Well, social media has essentially taken human connection and turned it into a drug.
Even though they watch a lot of movies, they lack in social interaction skills, and that doesn't improve your child's vocabulary. It does the opposite. Another important factor that you would really like to consider before exposing your child to media is what kind of effect does social media has on your child's mental health. As human beings, we're a social animal, and when a child is developing, it's really important to engage in social activities, to spend time outdoors. But when the child is spending too much time on the screen, they get a false impression that they are socially active. They feel like they're watching something, they look the people on the screen interacting, but this is a false impression of socializing, because socializing is not just about watching others, it's about self interaction, our physical interaction with people, our exchange of words, exchange of our feelings, sharing, and etc. So when the child is trapped into media, he or she feels that there is no need to interact with other people because they feel they are already socially engaged with the screen. But this is false, and in the end they feel really aggressive, they feel depressed, they feel isolated, and they do not understand what is happening with them. They do not understand that this is caused by the false impression of the media. This is our job as parents to guide our kids not to fall into the mental trap that media is creating for them. So it is really important to understand that misguided or not properly guided engagement with social media is really a threat for further development of depression, which is really common today, mood swings, anger problems, and so on.
What's being called internet addiction disorder.
I really want an iPad.
A lot of parents use social media as an escape door from a child who is not letting them do their things. They feel like the child is interrupting them, or the child is throwing up a tantrum. The child is having a bad mood. So what the parents do instead of comforting the child, they just give a mobile phone to their hands. And I think this is really, really wrong, because it teaches the child that when they're feeling stressed, they turn automatically, it teaches them to turn to social media, not to you as a guide. And social media does not resolve the inner conflict that they have. It just shifts their attention to something else, and the conflict is still inside of them. So one thing that this teaches them is to turn to media as a solace place, as a comfort zone instead of you. And second thing, it results in building up of this unresolved issues in their mind, which can again, as earlier said, lead to isolation kind of feeling, that they are not listened to, because the parents try to avoid their kids when they are trying to express something to the parents, right? Then there is a type of parents that usually give a mobile phone to their kid during the mealtime. So most commonly this has to do with the short span of attention a child has. The child is refusing to eat, he or she starts to play around, he's not eating properly, and then the parent's solution is just to give a mobile phone to a child. But again, I think this is really, really unhealthy. First of all, you have to understand that this is completely fine for a kid to have a very short attention span. A small child cannot concentrate on one object more than a few seconds or a minute. And this has nothing to do with a child's temper or character. It's just the nature of a child's mind. It cannot concentrate on the object for more than a few seconds. So a much more healthy practice than to give your child a mobile phone is to spend this meal time as a bonding time with your kid. Because a meal time is just a perfect time for both the parent and the kid to bond. It is a perfect opportunity to teach and learn You can ask your kids some questions, can tell them a story. Then when they lose attention really fast, you might want to show the kid these kinds of small booklets, these small little cards, ask them question what animal it is, and the kid will eat their meal perfectly. Because when you choose to give him or her a mobile phone instead, the child is not even being aware of your presence. He's so full into the media world that he doesn't see you, he doesn't hear you, he doesn't feel the taste of the food that you are giving him. Let him feel your presence, that you are there with him. The interaction, the connection is really important. Another factor you should probably consider is eye vision. Yes, your kid won't be wearing specs the next day he starts to watch a mobile screen, but eventually it could lead to a poor eye vision. And believe me, you don't want this to happen. You don't want your kid to be dependent on contact lenses and glasses for all of his or her life. As someone who is suffering from near eyesightedness, I really know how frustrating this is. So giving a mobile phone to your child might be a temporary solution for you, but you do not want to know all the serious consequences it might have in the future. Because once the child is too much indulged in the media, your child is going to lose the touch with reality. Your child is not going to be interested with the real world, okay? You go outside to a beautiful place in nature and your child won't be there present with you. Because to him, this real world seems boring. Your child is used to this flashy kind of information that changes in front of his eyes, and the real world, it doesn't have this ever-changing information. When you're in the media, your brain is completely entertained by this variety of information, this variety of things, and when the child is back into the real world, he won't be interested to interact with the real people, with the real environment, to explore the real nature, enjoy the small joys of life. This is the problem, And some parents, they end up wondering, what is wrong with my child? My child is not interested in talking with people. He's always by himself. But that's not true. You made him that way by exposing him to too much media. So please, before exposing your child to media, understand all the consequences, because they do not have a choice. We do.